Hello, welcome back. You're watching Breakfast with Naga Chetty and Charlie State.
Good morning to you. Time now is 8:34. Golden eagles haven't lived in England or Wales for more than a decade. But thanks to a project in southern Scotland, it's thought they may be venturing slightly further south.
Birds of prey have been spotted in the uplands of England, raising hopes they may even start to nest there in the future. Our reporter Joe Lonsdale has more.
People had long travelled to Riggindale in the Lake District in the hope of spotting a golden eagle. But the last bird disappeared a decade ago, with the species considered extinct in England, despite an abundance of ideal habitat here in the north. But perhaps for not too much longer. Ian Glendinning knows his wildlife. He's a passionate defender of red squirrels and has photographed golden eagles in the Scottish Highlands. But he didn't expect to encounter one in his home county.
It's the last thing I expected to see in Northumberland, and it just happened to be driving past an outcrop of rocks, and there it was, sitting on the rocks about 30 metres away from me. And I'm not quite sure who got the biggest surprise. I know I was absolutely astounded to see it. Wingspan, at least 6 feet. There's nothing like them. There's absolutely no mistake whatsoever.
This is the bird Ian saw, photographed in Scotland. We know this because he has a satellite tag. He's called Talla, and he's one of more than 40 birds translocated from the Highlands to the south of Scotland over the last 7 years. And it seems more and more of those birds are venturing over the border. The Moffat Hills, part of the Rothbury estate, have recently been purchased by the Northumberland Wildlife Trust. So for the charity's boss, golden eagle sightings in the county is welcome news.
I'm incredibly excited and pleased, of course. We want to see these majestic, amazing birds back in our county where they used to be. And I think for me, it's starting to be a bit of a signal, really, that things could be put right and we could get more nature back, not just golden eagles, more skylarks and everything else around here. Well, we really hope golden eagles will come and nest naturally here like they've done in the past, and that's always the easiest and best way, nature regaining its hold. But if that doesn't happen, then we can actually go down the model that they've used in southern Scotland. We could actually work with the same partners to try to make that work by translocation.
Mike believes a golden eagle nest in Northumberland or the Lake District will happen soon, perhaps in the next 5 years. In the meantime, keep your eyes peeled in remote areas because they are visiting more and more. Joe Lonsdale, BBC News.
Well, watching those pictures with us here in the studio, Dr. Kat Barlow, who's from the South of Scotland Golden Eagle Project. Morning to you.
That's right, good morning.
Amazing pictures. Tell us a bit about how excited you are about golden eagles being seen other than in Scotland.
Yeah, so we've been working on a translocation project in the south of Scotland for about 6-7 years now, raising the population from about 6 birds up to nearly 50. So it's been fantastically successful, really good. And they're just starting to explore across the border now, because of course they don't recognise a line on a map, they're just following the uplands. And yeah, I'm County Durham girl, born and bred, so the possibility of seeing them in northeast England again is really exciting.
And what do we know about their likelihood of travelling further? I mean, are they birds that are expected to stay local? Do they travel much? Or what do we know about their patterns of behaviour?
They wander quite a lot in the first 2-3 years of life. So quite often they won't start to breed until they're about 5 years old. They can live to kind of 35, 40. But they wander quite widely in the first few years, and that's what these birds are doing. They're looking for new territories, looking for other eagles, looking for potential food. So, yeah, and then they'll find somewhere to settle.
So there were six pairs or six?
6 birds, so 3 pairs in the south of Scotland.
3 pairs. Do they mate for life?
They do, yeah.
Do they you know, when you rear more, do you kind of match make them?
No, so what we've done is take golden eagle chicks from nests in the Highlands and Islands. We bring them down to the south of Scotland. We put them in an aviary, and then when they're ready to go, we just open the door and let them disappear off.
They must be in batches, but they wouldn't naturally gravitate to each other as partners.
They do. I mean, they're solitary birds, but they're quite curious. So, especially at a young age, they will go and look for each other. They'll go and look for those local nests, and they're looking for a mate. They've got that instinct to breed.
And how territorial are they? Because Charlie kind of looked at how they were travelling, which is obviously they're curious. But once they're established, how territorial are they? How much kind of territory do they cover?
They can do. A territory
Or
size
own,
depends
you know.
on food, so they can be quite small, they can be quite large, but they can be very territorial. So one of the leading causes of death in golden eagles is another golden eagle, so they will fight to get a territory and a space. We had one of our young birds that was killed just a couple of years ago that wandered a little bit too close to a nest that had chicks about to fledge, and the breeding female got him.
Right. Now, I'm not seeking to impugn someone who might say they've seen a golden eagle, but how do you know if someone really has seen a golden eagle? Because I don't know how expert you have to be, but if you get a call from someone in the Lake District now, for example, and they say, I've seen a golden eagle, how do you rate whether it's a real sighting or not?
It is really tricky because it's easy to mix them up with species like a buzzard.
Yeah.
We have our golden eagles satellite tagged, so we know where they're going and when they're spending time. So if someone can give us a date and a time and a location, we can usually tell them whether an eagle was in that area and whether they're likely to have seen one.
So they're satellite tagged. So you've got a screen somewhere, and so you can see where they are geographically.
Yeah, we can follow them on a computer. It gives us a little ping as they fly around. Gives us elevation. It can tell us if they're flying or kind of sat still. So it's really fascinating. We're learning a huge amount.
So, how many are moving over to England?
Just a handful at the moment. So they're starting to explore. Most of them are settling in the south of Scotland, but it's a really exciting stage. We've just set up a new charity called Restoring Upland Nature so that we can support eagles in northern England. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see what happens in coming years.
You're an expert in... Sorry.
I just wanted to know why they became so rare in the first place. What was the problem? And I know you've encouraged more pairs, but what went wrong the first time round?
People, sadly. So
hunting or
persecution,
environment, right?
Effectively, yeah. Anyone that saw golden eagles as a threat or a challenge to their livelihood, it's
so it could be farmers. I'm not putting all the blame on farmers, but people protecting their livestock or
potentially, yeah. I mean, issues with lambs are very kind of few and far between with golden eagles, but they can and quite like to take game birds. So places like grouse moors, pheasants, red-legged partridge. Historically, they have.
So what's going to stop it from happening again? Now?
We've been doing some work in the south of Scotland as a partnership with kind of shooting estates and conservationists working together, and it's changing those hearts and minds. It's getting that industry to support golden eagles and demonstrate that they can support a species like this, and they've been absolutely fantastic. We've had them building nests, gamekeepers naming a golden eagle, so they've really come on board and supported us, which is great.
I don't know, in your work, how physically close have you been? I mean, I've seen that someone was pretty close there to those birds.
Yeah.
How close have you been? What's it like when because they're incredible creatures?
We can get very close, but not very often. So the only time that they see us is when we take them from the nest as a chick. We do health checks on them, we take them to the aviary, and then we put a satellite tag on them just before they go. But other than that, we're watching them from behind a screen, so they don't get used to people. We want them to stay completely wild. So, yeah, we get close at some points, but after that, we're seeing them out in the wonderful habitat they should be in.
What a great job you've got.
It is brilliant. I'm so lucky, and I have golden eagles in my garden. I live in a very rural spot in the south of Scotland.
Now you're just bragging, aren't you?
You have golden eagles in your garden?
I do. I live on a little farm in the kind of Moffat Hills, and they roost in a little wood about 400 metres from my house. I'm very lucky.
Wow.
Can't complain.
Nice to see you this morning. Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.